afternoon. How is everybody?
Oh, great. Did you have a good weekend?
I finished the show yesterday, and there's just a little something I saw that I thought might be useful for all of us when everyone's packing up. There were some stickers, and this says, I don't know if you can read it, fragile, handle with care, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm putting it here because I think when we go out, it's probably quite important when we're emotionally fragile, which I know Sherry is all the time, that people have some warning. So
yeah,
there we
we
go.
all are in our own way, aren't we?
I thought I'd get us all fragile with care stickers.
Yeah,
thank you.
People, yeah, I know, to give us a wide berth.
So how is it now you've finished your theatre job forever?
Do you see, it's the support that means so much to me, Sherry. Thank you. Yeah. Because whenever we finish a job, we never think we're going to work again. And as Sherry has highlighted very kindly, yeah, that's what I feel. But you know what?
We do feel that.
And Dr. Theatre, you crack on a smile and you get on with it because we're going to
get
be
on
fine.
with it.
And no emotional drama, just on.
Now, just a question that I don't know if you know the answer to, but now that everything has to be closed at 10 o'clock at night, does that mean that the theatres that were supposed to be reopening are not opening?
No, because they're not bars. It's not as far as I know, it doesn't affect them. It's not bars, it's not pubs. People are in there in a different sense. And the show came down just after 10, and people don't stick around, they just naff off. So I think it's all right.
And yet, I will just throw this in very briefly. The House of Commons bar doesn't have to close at 10.
Doesn't it?
No, so they can drink
that is
forever.
Absolutely ridiculous. I mean,
Yes.
how
do they justify that?
Yeah,
It's one rule for them.
We'll get a Wonderbirds petition about that.
Yeah.
I think the whole country will.
Appalling.
But to be honest, I'm not
outrageous.
surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
No one's surprised, but really to actually put it online,
Absolutely.
which they did, you just go, what are you thinking? Why do you think people aren't taking any notice and not behaving? Because you're all, I can't say the word.
Well, it's politicians, darling.
You can.
And actually, I was going to talk about rats today. And that was a good segue, wasn't it, from politicians?
Very good segue.
But anyway, not saying that, but, you know, I heard on Friday that rats are being trained to sniff out landmines. Did you know that?
Rats are very, very intelligent creatures.
Very intelligent.
Perhaps a lot of people don't know that, but they are very intelligent. The trained rats. Years ago, I did a series called Headlice, as we used to call it. And there were lots of rats in it, and they were trained. And David, my ex-husband, had to have them all over him, which was great. I loved that. But anyway, they used to have it in the pockets and everywhere, and they were so clever. Except, of course, as we said before, Sherry, rats are a bit similar to mice because they wee all over the place.
Yeah,
everywhere.
They do.
I don't think they have much of a bladder.
No,
they just
not unlike us, Sherry.
Well, no, but they smell. They
do they have tellers? Rat tellers?
No, I'm kidding.
But tell us about this rat, because he won an award, didn't he?
There's a rat called Magawa, right? And that in Cambodia, and he was the sort of the main king rat, if you like, or queen rat, who sniffed out the most landmines, and he's just got an award, a gold medal, a PDSA, which is like sort of the gold star of medals, and it's a tiny little gold medal.
Fabulous.
Just for Magawa, for all his, I think it was all his amazing work with landmines, and he sniffed out hundreds of landmines, so he saved hundreds and hundreds of people's lives. So I thought that was worth a mention.
I've always loved rats ever since Disney did Ratatouille. I thought they were so funny and so smart and so wonderful. I know people, I'm not squeamish about rats and mice at all. It wouldn't be my first choice, but I don't mind. But again, it's those things like foxes. They have a spirit and a sense of survival. And I love that.
I lived in a house a couple of years ago. It's about 200 to 300 years old, and it was beautiful, but I had an infestation of mice. And they were everywhere. I thought I was actually seeing things. They were everywhere. And then one morning, I woke up and I was just sitting up thinking, oh, dear, now today. And I looked to my left, and one of them was sitting on the pillow next to me, looking at me. and then it saw me with no makeup and went, ah!
Ooh. I know. I mean, I was going to say, you know, I'm sure all of us have slept with quite a few rats in our time.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Oh yeah.
I've woken up with them, yeah.
Not if you're smart.
I know, I remember living in South London in a very old flat. You know, it was like, as you said, Sherry, hundreds of years old. And we had an infestation of mice, but they got so bold that when I was cooking, they'd come out and dance around the cooker on their hind legs, you know, oh, hi, I'm here. So, and then I had to get a cat in the end to do, and the cat lived with us.
I do hope that's true, Dee.
And they moved out, darling, they moved out.
They moved out, bags, coats, hats,
off.
Yes, they danced off.
Oh,
So anyway,
I love it.
the most important thing today is, apart from Magawa and us, of course, is we have got the most amazing guest, again, who's flown into the nest. And he's not just a singer-songwriter, he's a legend in his own right. And it's the amazing Steve Harley.
Yoo-hoo!
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you all. Hello.
Where are you?
I'm on the A1 in a car on the way home from a concert last night.
Oh, where have you been?
We've been in Lancashire near Clitheroe. We played yesterday to about 500 people outdoors. They were socially distanced on tables and soft cushiony chairs and things. It was just wonderful, right by a river. It was glorious, but different to what I'm used to.
It's a beautiful part of the country. I live up there, and also we had beautiful weather yesterday. So I bet it was a warm night, wasn't it?
It was just glorious. We were finished by 5 p.m. We played from 3 to 5, but it was glorious.
Fantastic.
It's
Steve,
just good to be playing, you know.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to you about your iconic track, Make Me Smile, which of course I have to say I covered, but that's not to talk about me, to talk about you. And it's one of the most widely played tracks in British broadcasting, isn't it? And
that's what I heard.
Yeah, it's fabulous. And you've got some really, I think you've got some amusing anecdotes to do with that track, haven't you?
Oh, it's got a life of its own. I mean, it is phenomenal. I'm glad it's mine. About 3 years ago, I went to a week or 10 days or something in Montenegro. I wanted to explore the Dalmatian coast.
Ooh.
With Mrs. Harley, and we rented an apartment there for 10 days or something, and we went out to dinner most nights. And one evening, we'd been at a very swish hotel, a lovely dinner, and on the way back in a cab, we were about 5 minutes from the apartment block, and Make Me Smile came on his car radio. It was playing quite quietly, and then he whacked up the level. He got the volume knob and just twisted it full up, regardless of these two strangers in the back of his cab. It was very loud. And he sang every word in English. Yeah, every word. And he was banging on his steering wheel to the rhythm. And Dorothy said to me, "Are you going to tell him?" And I said, "No, I don't think so. She said, "You'll make his day. You got to tell him." Well, it was fading out as we arrived, and we got out, and he put the passenger window down, and I was leaning in with my euros, and I just looked him right in the eye and said, "Good record, that." And he said, "It's the best in the world, the best ever. It was on my 18th birthday, my 21st. It was at my wedding. It will be at my funeral. It's the first record I ever bought." And he said, "It's the best pop song in the world," all this stuff. And she's behind me, Dorothy, and she's very amusing. And she's saying, "You got to tell him. You got to tell him. He'll make his year." And I just said, "I'll keep the change." And we walked off.
Oh no!
No. Well, you know what? No, listen, if he didn't recognize me, that's okay too. I quite like being semi-anonymous. But he might have just shrugged his shoulders and said, "So what?" Well, that would have been brilliant. I don't need that.
The thing is, Steve, you would have had free taxi trips for the rest of the time you were there. What were you thinking of?
There is this possibility, but you know, I'm not that cheap.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I hear it all over the place. I hear it everywhere I go. In elevators and
of course.
Brilliant.
Steve, we were talking just now about Ribble Valley and playing outside. I know in these times it's been impossible, but it must be amazing to eventually get outside. I mean, 500 people, I know it isn't a lot to you, but it must have been a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, it is for them too. It's a symbiotic relationship. I mean, I have learned during this 6 months from being very active on Facebook, which I never have in my life. But the numbers are just building and building and building daily, according to my social media lady. And I've learned from people, from fans, how much live music means to them. And I didn't know, because it's a job to us. We play, and then we go to a hotel, and then the next day we do it again. It's a livelihood, a job. It's a great privilege, and I adore the life. I have a great life and lifestyle. But I'm learning what it means to them. And the appreciation of the 3 shows we've played in September, 3 outdoors, all a bit odd, socially distanced, and one was a drive-in, cars.
Oh God!
Well, they got out of the cars. They had they could get on their blanket and chairs. They were out the car.
Oh, good.
But it's odd because they're so far away from the stage, and we're not used to that. I'm used to a mush pit and photographers outdoors. You know?
Yeah, of course.
But look. Yes. We postponed until next year 60 concerts. It's a huge number, huge income gone missing this year, especially for the players and the crew and the theatre staff. I'm so sorry for all of them. It's really tough. We knew when it started, we all knew we'd be at the end of the food chain, the opening of theatres. We knew venues. It will come.
It will come back. I've just finished a show at the old studios called Sleepless, which is a musical, which is the first musical to come back in London.
I've been reading about it.
Yes, we were tested every day, and it's a beginning. And as you say, it will come back. We've come back before with the plague and everything else, and theatre, music is everything.
You've been in the Sleepless in Seattle?
Yeah.
At Wimbledon?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wembley, darling, not Wimbledon, Wembley.
Wembley. My assistant, my Oppo, who goes everywhere with me except this trip. He was with us yesterday. You must know Leanne.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, they're getting married this year. He lives with
her. I know, postponed. I know.
She was in it.
Small
She
world.
finished
it. Lovely.
Yeah, small world.
Small world.
Small world. I love it. I want to ask you about Phantom, because with musicals, and you did. Tell us about Phantom.
Well, yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, they ousted me for Michael Crawford eventually. I did the audition and I got the part. Actually got a standing ovation from about 30 people.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Of course you did.
They gave me the job. And for 3 months, the great joy, a massive experience. It changed my life. And I mean that was spending all these weeks with Hal Prince.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, he was the first. I've met Bob Dylan since then, but at the time, Hal was the first person I met that I would think was a genius.
Yeah.
He knew exactly who I was. He treated me accordingly and pinned me to the wall time after time. Psychologically, he was way out in a special place, and I adored him. I adored what he taught me. And you know, I'm a great fatalist. I'm a wandering minstrel. Unlike you guys, I'm not an actor person. I'm not really at all. And I'm a wandering minstrel. It's a different dressing room every day for us.
Yeah.
I was signed up for 9 months for Phantom, and I don't know. There is a God, and maybe the fates will work.
Can I ask you something? Is what I love, which you're doing now, even if you're going to, you know, your gig last night, it's being with that group of people that means so much, the people you travel with, the people you work with. And I think that's the thing that we all miss, is the socializing with our
definitely
creative people. And that's the hard thing. The people, whether it's box office, stage door, whatever it is, it's being together. And I think that's the hard thing. And it must be wonderful to at least get a glimpse of that when you do your gigs.
Yeah, it's tough. As I said, this is 3 we've done in the last 4 weeks. And yesterday, my tour manager is a year older than me, and he's been around the block many, many, many times with the biggest acts in the world. And we're both very experienced and very relaxed about all this, you know. And yesterday he walked in, we arrived separately, of course, and he came into the gamekeeper's house, which was our dressing room. And we just looked at each other and said, we just gave each other a huge hug. We just, what do you do? It's, come on. I've got musicians that have been with me on the road for 35 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're not hugging and saying hello after 6 months.
Yeah,
exactly. It is, absolutely.
Steve, I wanted to ask you something quite, when you started in the music business, during that time, everybody was really buggered up, is probably the best expression, by their management and by, you know, the record companies and all of that lot. Did you manage to escape that? Did you manage to get all your royalties?
Yeah, nobody ever stitched me up. You know, in 1972 and 3, when I signed, the first company Rebel signed to EMI, it was literally to make 3 albums. We didn't have that word options that they all have to suffer now. They sign up, they sign up to make a single, and if it's a hit, there's an option for an album, and it's all options. But we had to develop. I was only 22. We had to develop over 3 LPs for EMI. Working at Abbey Road with great engineers and things like that. So it was a great start. But, you know, at that time, I had a manager, and EMI, their legal department would not allow the band, the 5 of us, to sign the contract unless it had been read by a music business professional lawyer. It wasn't that they didn't want you to, like before that. It all turned around and became very honest. They insisted.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So, no, I've always been...
I know because David Bowie had a terrible time, and so did all the people sort of in the late 60s. They all had that time where their management just took everything from them. And so you see, you managed to escape that, which is really good.
Yeah, he was older than me, I'll have you know.
No, I know that, but I meant the era.
So he started before me.
He lost in the early 70s. He still didn't have his rights. No,
I know. Yeah, it was. They were unscrupulous people. Self-satisfied, unscrupulous people in those days. A lot. They still are. The music business is still packed with these half-wits and demi-thieves, you know? It's packed with them. They just don't come near me. I mean, if they come near me, I don't have a manager. I have a business associate that overlooks everything and oversees everything that I do and agree to do. But I pay him. No one gets 25% of my earnings.
Yeah.
I think you should become the Wonderbirds manager, actually, Steve. You sound
definitely. I'm just about to say that.
You don't want to be.
So Steve, when's your next gig?
There isn't one.
Oh,
you can't play out. You can't play outdoors. Oh yeah. Next May, we've got 60, 70 shows between May and December already, mostly sold out. But the sad thing, ladies, please, the saddest thing, February the 27th next year is a big, big birthday for me. And we have sold 2,000 tickets at Glasgow Royal Concert Hall.
Wow.
For a big concert, and it ain't going to happen.
Oh.
It won't happen, not in February. So we're going to do it the following year as Steve's big birthday bash +1.
There you go. But Steve, the important thing is that 2020 doesn't count because it's been such a horrendous year.
Yeah.
It doesn't count, darling. So you can, it isn't +1. You're on track.
So we don't mark the birthday. I like this. I like this. Thank you. I like it.
Thank you so much for coming in, Steve. And we hope to be at your concert next time. We'll definitely be there. But we'll be there for the Harley big birthday +1. We will come.
You must just let my office know. You know, we'll look after you guys. It would be great pleasure.
And I want to say also for February, happy 40th, because obviously it's the big one. We're only in our 30s, so you know we'll look forward to your 40th.
Slightly
Lovely
bigger
to
than
see
that.
you. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bless you all. Bless you all. Good luck with it all.
Thank you, and you.
What a fantastic guy.
Oh, what a lovely man.
Brilliant.
Absolutely wonderful. Just again,
did you know actually? Did you know that he did Mastermind and also he won Pointless as well? He's and he studied Latin until he was 15. So he speaks fluent Latin.
And so it must be so useful when he's travelling to the Latin.
It must be, especially to Scotland and places.
No, it's lovely.
Now we've got something very exciting happening on Wednesday, haven't we?
Yes, Steve.
Yes, it is.
Tell us all.
5, 4, 3, 2,
1. Lift off.
In International Thunderbirds Day.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
I want everybody to dress up as a character from Thunderbirds.
Oh my goodness. No pressure there.
And I shall be talking.
And can we be puppets?
I have to say that I remember the birth of Thunderbirds. I hate to admit, because I don't know how I could, because I wasn't actually born then.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Anyway, but I remember it very well, and I will be talking to you. I have some very good photographs and all sorts of things, so it'll be really exciting. Ooh.
Can't wait.
I'm so thrilled.
Thank you.
So you're obviously going to be Lady Penelope, standard.
Yes, we can all be Lady Penelope.
You can all be Lady Penelope.
Yeah,
Whoever you want to be.
absolutely.
I think you should be the chauffeur, though, Harriet.
I'm hearing a whining sound again, everybody. I don't know if Sherry's lost her sound.
Anyway, well, yes, I better go and start getting ready. I don't know who I'm going to be. Perhaps I'd be Brains.
Oh, yes.
There you go. There you go. Perfect.
Yes, definitely.
Very interesting to find out where these characters came from. Very, very interesting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All will be revealed.
Debbie, you could be Aquamarina.
But she wasn't in Thunderbirds. Was she in Thunderbirds?
No, she was in Stick. But I must tell you what my father used to say, being old school. He said she was the perfect woman, very beautiful, but didn't say a word.
Okay, well,
what a misogynist. I know.
Offensive.
And I remember it. And I am actually very...
Maybe don't tell people that, Dee, just a thought.
Yes, she was
I will.
wooden. She was very wooden, I have to say.
Don't you worry, I'll tell people, all right.
Don't tell them. Oh, my goodness.
Hi.
Who's that?
To a certain point of the day where they just have to go out. Come here, come and say hello.
They've been very quiet, haven't they?
Very quiet.
Are all 6 of them around you?
Yes. So one of these. Oh, this is Tinkerbell.
They've been very well behaved. Very well behaved.
But I get to the point, as I did say, by the time the show ends, they have to go out.
They want
afternoon walk.
They've actually told us, Paul has actually got them to do the timing. So they've told us the time's up.
Okay.
So we'll see you on Wednesday.
See you Wednesday, girls.
Okay,
Bye.
darling. Bye.
Come up and see me, make me smile. Do what you want, run on wild. There's nothing left